Welcome to the Cabral House Call. I'm Stephen Cabral, board-certified naturopathic doctor, and today I'm here to answer your wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging based questions. We're going to stick to the weight loss and nutrition based topic for today. We've kind of honed in on 3 of your specific questions, boiled them down to some of the most frequently asked ones. So today's first question is it okay to skip meals to save calories? So this is one literally I've heard for the last 20 years. And it never seems to die and get old. And that's one of those ones that will just last forever. It's kind of like women shouldn't lift weights because they'll build big muscles. It's one of those things that like literally will never seem to go away, but that's okay. So we'll answer that today. And the reason is this: you can never skip meals to save calories, because what happens is you end up overeating at that next meal, and then you also start to drop blood sugar levels, you become more irritable, your energy goes down, and it's really difficult to stick to a plan like that. Now, can you do intermittent fasting, which is completely different? That would be like from 7 p.m. at night to 7 a.m. in the morning, and maybe even a longer one where you're going from 7 p.m. at night to lunchtime that next day. That would be a little bit different. We also have a 24-hour intermittent fast where someone will go from, let's say like 6 o'clock the night before to 6 the next night. So they're still having dinner that next night. They're not missing out on, one day's worth of food. But what I would say is, in general, it's a very bad idea to skip meals. We call it calorie banking. And that means like, oh, well, typically I can eat 1,500 calories a day, so I'm not going to eat the entire day so that at night I can go out, have a couple of drinks, and then have dinner as well. To me, that's a bad idea. Again, it's going to lead to potentially more fat increase as well, and that's because the body could potentially think that it's in almost like a starvation-based mode, and it's going to start to save more of those calories. I would much prefer to see you have smaller meals, maybe at breakfast and at lunch, maybe a little bit more if you're going out that night, if you're looking at controlling overall calories. But for the most part, that will never work as a long-term plan. So hopefully that answers your question. Next question is, so are all calories equal? It's a great question. And again, this one is a little bit more complicated. And so I don't want to give you the canned answer of like, no, they're not all the same. You can't just interchange different foods. But here's the reason why. Processed carbohydrates and processed foods are going to get digested much faster to a much higher degree. That's going to increase the glycemic index of the food. That simply means how quickly does it get broken down into sugar. And that's going to spike blood sugar levels. When blood sugar levels go up, insulin levels are going to rise. When that happens, your ability to burn body fat is going to drop down lower. So what I would also like to say is there's something called the thermogenic effect of food. And that means that carbohydrates and fats, they're going to burn up around, it's give or take, but they're going to burn up around 6 calories for every 100 calories consumed, which means, let's just say you take in 100 calories of fat or a carbohydrate, you're going to be able to, again, this is an exact breakdown, your body will see about 94 of those or so, okay? But if you take in protein, let's just say like chicken, your body's only going to see about 70 of those. So it goes from 94 to about 70 from carbohydrates and fat to protein. And that's because the thermogenic effect, or the body's increased energy output to break down protein, is higher. So of course, a calorie is not a calorie is not a calorie, which a lot of people say that is true. But there's a huge difference between having like chicken and broccoli with a little bit of olive oil on it versus having pasta with tomato sauce and other stuff mixed in. There's just a huge difference in terms of how your body actually sees those foods. So one of the best examples is 100 calories of soda versus 100 calories of chicken and broccoli. They're both exactly the same, but try drinking 1,500 calories of soda versus 1,500 calories of good quality protein, vegetables, carbohydrates, and fat, your body will look completely different. And so that's why no matter what you see of just counting calories, and like, you know, I know there's a lot of like prepackaged meals now and prepackaged snacks, but that will never be the answer, and they will not help you lose weight because they're processed and they will spike your blood sugar and they will mess with your hormone levels and they will not feed your body what it needs in terms of nutrition, which is a totally different story completely that we won't get into right now. So a calorie is most certainly not a calorie, and you should not even be necessarily counting calories at all. That's a way down the line thing if you need to do it. You should be just strictly focused on whole foods, good nutritious foods. Hopefully that answers your question. So what time of the day is best to have carbohydrates? Really great question, because this does actually matter. Now, it matters more so if you're an ectomorph, a mesomorph, or an endomorph, or a Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, depending on whose language you're speaking. That just means body types. So the ectomorph is obviously going to burn more calories, burn more sugar, burn more during the day, and that's just because they're kind of the thinner joints, always moving, kind of always anxious or stressed or whatever it might be, body type. But it does go for everyone, and so this is how we look at it is, if you're trying to lose weight, your carbohydrates should first be taken down to a very low level, and then eased back into your diet. And why would you do that? Well, the science is very simple because we're doing it uniquely to you, and you know, what I practice is basically personalized medicine. And personalized weight loss and all of those things, and so we need to find out what specifically works for you. So if we take them down first, and then we can gradually increase them back over a period of weeks, we can say, is your threshold 50 carbohydrates, 100 carbohydrates, 150, 200 grams, as we're talking grams per day, you know, what works for you? And then also what I would say is if you're trying to lose weight, but you still need your carbohydrates for energy, for mood, for all of those things, what I would say is have them in the morning for breakfast, a small serving, and then also have them after your workout. Those are the two best times of the day to have those carbohydrates, with probably the best time really being after your workout to replenish the sugars and glucose that you have burned. So what I would say is, for now, if you're trying to lose weight, have those fruits that you enjoy or those starches that you enjoy after your workout. And then you can try a smoothie in the morning, which is what I recommend. You can have some in the morning as well. If you're still losing weight with that, fantastic. And then what you can do is you can say, okay, I'm still losing weight, or I've met my goal weight. Now I'm going to try having some at lunch, like some sweet potatoes or something like that. Great. And you're still maintaining your weight. Then you might say, okay, now let me try some at dinner. But dinner is going to be the very last time you would ever think to add in carbohydrates, unless it was a cheat meal, and you can do that, of course. And the reason is that there's no point, if you've already replenished glucose stores or glycogen stores in your body, to then have more at night when you're just not going to be, there's not going to be a call for it, there's not going to be a need for it. And in my opinion, I haven't seen it work out great for clients, and I don't think that you would want to spike or potentially spike glucose or blood sugar levels at night when there's no chance you're going to bring them down as well with moving during the day or exercise. So hopefully those answered your questions today. Love all the questions you've been asking. Please continue to submit them, and I will continue to answer them. Thank you for joining me once again on Cabral House Call. Audio Jungle.